Another Monday, another day for hot news. We got the gaming news, the best gaming news on the internet. Come and get it while it's hot. We're going to go into the gaming news, which is first up, Garry's Mod 2, potentially confirmed by the original developer in a tweet that makes it slightly confusing, but also like he was trying to announce that he's coming up with Garry's Mods 2. Anyways, Gary Newman, the guy behind Garry's Mod, posted this meme, which makes it seem like he's indeed working on it. Until he tweeted afterwards, thanks for the support. Hope you're not going to be disappointed when you find out that Gmod 2 is an iOS Match 3 game made in Unity. Which, I mean, very well could be. So in case you like Garry's Mod and you want it to be remade, or get a second one that can be updated for new life in the new world and how we live now, well, it might be your year. And especially with people being on lockdown, got all the time to develop a new game. But while we're on the topic of Garry Mod, there's a new Half-Life 2 VR mod that you can use Garry Mod to actually play it in VR. Anyways, somebody used that Half-Life Alyx's Source 2 engine to make Half-Life 2 in VR, but currently, if you wanted to do it yourself, you could also use Garry's Mod in order to make it happen. As you can see here, they're playing Half-Life 2. It's not foolproof. It doesn't really work because obviously Half-Life 2 wasn't developed for VR, so it's not like a one-for-one experience, and it probably won't actually happen to the fullest extent. There was a project years ago on Steam Greenlight that was supposed to bring Half-Life 2 VR, but now there's a new modder who was able to port Source 2 over into Half-Life 2, but unless Valve releases the SDK for Source 2, they're not going to be able to get all of Half-Life 2 into VR. And you're going to be able to get all of NieR into your reality. That's how this is working, because NieR Replicant is getting a remaster courtesy of Square Enix, releasing this trailer yesterday showing it off. NieR Replicant version 1.224744871339 ellipses. Yes, that's what's happening. But on top of that, we also got an announcement for a mobile game that should be coming out called NieR Reincarnation. So this is as celebration of the 10th anniversary of NieR, and it's also possible, probably not likely, but there's a possibility that Platinum's Game's fourth announcement on Wednesday, which is supposed to be happening April 1st, might be about a NieR sequel. Probably not, but there's the potential for it. NieR Replicant and NieR Reincarnation, no release dates as of yet, both being produced by Square Enix. There's some excitement. Caitlin is freaking out about it. She sent it to the group and made sure that we knew about it before I even could research the news. So it's getting a lot of people hyped up, especially people who played NieR before it was cool, before NieR Automata.
Words.
Well, the way you say that word is, it got multiple ways of doing it, which, speaking of NieR Automata, however you want to say it, it is now on Xbox Game Pass, in case you want to play that, which it's a phenomenal game. You actually have to play it more than once to get all of the endings. So just, it's a good time sink during this time where you're on lockdown, staying home, playing more games than ever. Do that. But you won't be able to play this game by Square Enix, but you might, but you definitely won't, but you will. But maybe not on time, because Square Enix coming out with an update around Final Fantasy VII Remake, saying that they are indeed shipping copies of Final Fantasy VII-R sooner than they were expecting to Europe and Australia to help deal with the lockdowns that are going on so people can enjoy earlier. However, regions such as us in the US are going to be getting it later, potentially. Obviously, anything that's online will still be able to be available for download, but anybody who's waiting on a physical copy might be delayed in the US, but you might get it early if you're in Europe and Australia. There's already images on the internet of people showing that they have indeed gotten their deluxe editions in the mail. So let us know. Have you received one of those on your side? Want to know. All I know is I got an email from Amazon saying my Persona 5 Royal, which is supposed to come out tomorrow, might be delayed, and I'll get an email about it later. Well, that was on Saturday. Or Friday. That was on Friday. I haven't gotten an email that's going to be delayed, and when I still check my Amazon orders, it says it's going to be delivered tomorrow. So I'm gonna rage punch a dragon if I don't get it. I'll tell you.
Where do we get a dragon?
I don't care. I'm gonna rage punch it, which is what people want to put in their Gamerpics on Xbox. Rage comics. I don't know. I'm just trying to segue here. Anyways, Microsoft is disabling Xbox Gamerpic uploads because it just doesn't have enough resources to deal with that right now. There's also some reports that Microsoft is dealing with 700% surge capacity when it comes to people being on Xbox. So they just got a lot of stuff going on, uploading Gamerpics. It's too much bandwidth, too much for their moderators. Just knock it off. We're done with that. And with the news about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I should have just swapped these around. Final Fantasy VII Remake, obviously the digital editions should be coming out on April 10th, but we reported earlier that Sony was slowing down PSN in Europe. Well, now it has come out that they are slowing it down in the United States as well, so game downloads will take even longer than they're supposed to, even though PSN is a garbage network that always takes forever anyways. They're doing this to help ensure internet stability, so enjoy. But you can also enjoy Google's Tilt Brush, which is actually a really cool virtual reality painting app that you can use on typical desktop VR setups. Well, now it's come to PlayStation VR, so in case you have PlayStation, you can do that. And you could play the old game known as Dragon's Lair, which was a really interesting take on the video game medium back in the day, where it has more like cartoon action sequences, but was a video game. Well, Netflix is apparently going to be adapting it. Yes, you heard that right. Dragon's Lair is getting a Netflix adaptation, and Ryan Reynolds is going to play the noble knight Dirk the Daring on his quest to rescue Princess Daphne. So in case you were a Dragon's Lair fan, well, Netflix may or may not ruin that for you. And depending on which side of the argument you're on, emulators ruin the experience of video games, whether that's from a copyright standpoint where you're just able to download all of the games you want, or from a hardware standpoint where it's just like, I want to play this on the original. Anything that's not the original is bad. Well, there's an emulator for the Nintendo Switch out there known as Yuzu Emulator, and it appears that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is now playable. Super Smash Bros. Did I say brothers? Excuse me, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is now playable on the Yuzu emulator. In case you want to check that out, there's a link by BSOD Gaming. You can check it out in the top right-hand corner, my friends. And while people may be gaming with emulators, you're gaming on Steam. Or at least if you're not part of the Cool Kids Club, because Steam set another concurrent user record with 23 million people being online at the same time. This is breaking their record previously set a couple weeks ago of just around 20 million people. Now 23 million people appears to be the record. And while everybody's on the internet, they're looking for video games and they're looking for streaming games, which everybody's cutting bandwidth, but GeForce Now not cutting bandwidth, adding things. They have announced that they're going to be coming out with weekly updates to games, presumably every Thursday, because last Thursday they updated us on Control and several other games coming out for GeForce Now. New games every week from GeForce Now. Stadia hasn't committed to something like that. Pathetic. Disgusting. Anyways, you know what else is disgusting? Star Citizen and their lack of a video game. It's disgusting. Anyways, they, after another successful round of funding, have had $550 million poured into this venture with no known release date in sight of anybody who's actually going to be able to play it. So that's after a $17.25 million investment recently into Star Citizen. 550 mil.
Haven't you people learned?
But while Star Citizen has been in development forever, you know what other game has been in development forever? Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. People have been waiting that game since it was announced in 2012. It's out today, officially. You can play it now. I have one friend who's super excited. I messaged him at like 6:30 this morning, and he's an hour behind me, and he sent me a picture of him already playing the game. So he's already in it. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord out now. Is this something you're excited for? Let us know if you're playing Bannerlord down below in the comments, and let us know if you're playing HQ Trivia, because we were reporting in a previous episode of Hot News that HQ Trivia was shutting down because they didn't have enough money. Well, now they're back as of a tweet last night from the CEO of HQ Trivia, who couldn't pay its staff or the people who were winning in the game. Apparently now they have an anonymous investor who can pay the staff and pay the people who won previously. So in case you were owed money by HQ Trivia, they're apparently paying that out. I wouldn't trust this with the 25-foot pole. No, thank you.
I don't think that's how that saying goes, but let's roll with it.
You know who else said no thank you? Take-Two Interactive when it came to a lawsuit by a tattoo parlor who was suing them over tattoos that were on LeBron James. LeBron James in the game NBA 2K20, because they argued that the artwork that was depicted on LeBron James was their copyright because it was their artwork and therefore it couldn't be put in the video game. However, after the lawsuit took place, Take-Two Software main argument was that it wasn't on screen for a substantial period of time, and with how fast the characters were moving, it really wasn't a big deal, and they won. So it had nothing to do with whether or not the copyright law upheld. It had everything to do with the substantial nature to which the artist's work was depicted, and it wasn't enough. While lawsuits cost a lot of money, it also costs a lot of money to run anime adaptations of things. But Netflix doesn't care. Because they, after typically shutting down operations after 3 seasons for most Netflix-produced stuff, they have renewed Castlevania for Season 4. So in case you're a Castlevania fan, Season 4, coming for you. And I'm moving on over to the end of this episode of Hot News. Hit the like button, get subscribed. We're done with the news. Bye-bye.